right, good morning, Miss Warren. So it's currently 9 a.m., so it's time for our appointment to start. So we went over the confidentiality agreements, all that paperwork already. So just before we get started, I want to verify some of your information. So if you will, what's your age?
I'm 34,
So birthday.
June 4th, 1985.
Okay, awesome. And so what is your current living situation like?
I'm currently in Litchfield Prison.
Okay. So we can just go ahead and hop in and get started. So we're going to kind of start with family history, just kind of some basic stuff. So where were you born at?
I was born in New York.
Okay, and so did you grow up in New York as well?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So who raised you? What kind of, who did you have in your home?
I was adopted as a child at a young age.
Okay.
I don't remember my real parents or anything like that.
Okay, so you had an adopted mother and father?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any siblings growing up, sisters, brothers?
Yes, I had one sister.
Was this your biological sister?
No, but my parents had her biologically.
Okay, so it was kind of, I understand. Okay. So what would you say your relationship with your sister was like?
We were really close, and then after after I moved out of my parents' house, me and her got a house together, or
Okay.
an apartment together in New York. So we lived together for a while, and she took really good care of me.
Okay, yeah, that's great. So have you ever been married? Any serious relationships, that sort? Okay. Let's see. So we'll probably switch over. I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp of that. So we're gonna go ahead and get into educational history. So let's just talk about school a little bit. What's the highest that you've been in educationally?
12th grade.
12th grade? Okay, so did you finish high school?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so how did you feel about school? Did you enjoy it? Did you like your time there?
I enjoyed it. I really like learning. It was tough that I was bullied a lot.
Okay. All right, so what were your grades like when you were in school?
I was in special education classes. I
Okay.
usually made C's.
C's? Okay. So did you ever fail a grade or anything?
Yes.
So what grade did you
I
fail?
failed first grade after I was adopted.
Okay. Alrighty. So did you have any behavioral issues within school?
Yes, I had a
You did. Okay, so were you suspended?
Yes.
Were you ever expelled?
Yes.
So how many times did you say you were suspended from school?
About 3 times.
Okay, and then expulsions?
Once.
Okay. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and move on to employment history. So as far as employment goes, we can start with your first job. So what was your first job?
I was a greeter at a grocery store.
Okay, so how long did you work as a greeter?
About 2 years.
2 years. So what other jobs have you had since then? So if you want to, we can kind of start from the after grocery store greeter. We can work our way up to the present.
So I actually went to prison during my time as a grocery store greeter.
Okay.
So I've held multiple different jobs within the prison
Okay.
system. I've worked in maintenance and cleanup, and I cared for some chickens one
Okay.
time, and I helped raise funds for a GED program
That's awesome.
within our prison.
So what are you currently doing right now?
I'm currently raising funds for the GED
Okay.
program.
So what's the longest job that you've ever held?
Probably 2 years or so.
Do you feel in your work environment, you tend to respond appropriately, or have good kind of relationships with your coworkers, supervisors, and just pressures in general in the workplace?
Sometimes my coworkers don't understand me, and I have trouble understanding them, and there could be tensions within the work environment.
That's understandable. Okay. Have you ever been fired from a job?
Yes.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what were those reasons for your?
Inappropriate behavior.
Okay. So do you handle a lot of your finances from your job?
No.
So who does?
My mother does, and
Okay.
my sister did when I lived with her.
Okay. Do you find that you have issues handling your money? Is that a
Yeah.
thing that you've had issues with? Okay. So do you know why, or is it just kind of
I'm not really sure, I just don't really get the concept of it, I guess.
okay, that's completely fine. So we're gonna kind of move in. Do you have any history in the military and armed forces?
No, not at all.
No. Okay. So now we're gonna get into medical history. So, as this is just what you know and how aware that you are of the situation, so just answer to your best knowledge. So, are you aware of any complications during your birth?
I'm not aware because of I was adopted, so
Yes.
I don't have much information from my birth parents.
Okay. So, do you know, this may also be the same answer, but like, are you aware of any like developmental landmarks like crawling, walking, and talking? Do you know if you did that when you were supposed to?
I have no idea.
Okay. So, have you ever suffered from like a head injury or a loss of consciousness?
Yes.
So, do you have like, can you explain that further, like those situations?
Sometimes I get really frustrated and I hit my head on walls.
Okay. Okay. So, are you currently being treated for any physical illnesses or injuries?
No.
Okay. So, are you taking any medications currently?
Just ibuprofen.
Just ibuprofen. Okay. Have you ever suffered from seizures or
No.
blackouts?
I've had some instances where I black out and don't remember what I did during such scenarios.
Okay, so this is whenever you're frustrated or angry? Okay. So have you ever been like physically abused or sexually abused?
No.
How about emotionally abused?
Yeah, just bullied as a child
Bullying.
and through high school and
So-
it continues.
Was this primarily in high school when it started, or did it start at a younger age?
I started at a young age.
Young age. Okay. So now we're gonna hop into a little bit more touchy of a subject. We're gonna start talking about substance abuse or substance use. So have you ever participated in alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, cocaine, opiates, hallucinogens, amphetamines, sedatives, or hypnotics?
No, my
No.
mother said all of that was very bad.
Okay. Okay. So as for legal history, so this is definitely something we would need to, kind of talk on. So current charges, do you have any?
Yes, I'm in prison for kidnapping and involuntary manslaughter.
Okay. And so your past criminal record,
I am currently in prison, and that was my only offense. But
okay, this is your only offense. Okay. So now we're going to start talking about mental health history. So this is going to be primarily about like family and just kind of your background, which could be a little hard to like communicate about because of the biological aspect, but just do the best you can. So as far as family history, do you know of anything? I know you don't know your biological parents, but are you aware of any?
I'm not aware of their mental status.
So when it comes to you, so how would you describe your mood or how you feel generally?
I'm generally very happy, and but sometimes when I get angry, I get really angry. So
Okay.
it's like
One
either
or the other.
one extreme or the other.
I understand. So do you ever have like suicidal ideation or like gestures?
Sometimes when I'm just really frustrated and I don't really enjoy being in prison, so
Okay. So do you ever have like anxiety or feel really like stressed or just like overly worried about things?
yeah, I don't understand why I'm in prison, and sometimes I'm concerned for my safety, and I care a lot about my friends, and so I get anxious about their safety too.
Okay. So, which we've kind of touched on this, but like just irritability. So, do you feel like you can get like irritated pretty easily?
Yes, I
Okay.
easily triggered.
Okay. So, do you have any problems sleeping? Any issues with that?
No, I usually sleep pretty good.
Okay. Do you have any delusions or hallucinations?
Sometimes, yeah. I think things are happening that aren't.
Okay. So, as far as any other like history, like mentally, is there anything else that you think that I would want to know, or you feel like you need to tell me regarding like your mental history?
Some people think I have poor boundaries
Okay.
within like relationships, and sometimes I blur lines between friendship and like mentors and stuff like
Okay.
that, and can have aggressive outbursts when I'm frustrated and I don't handle my anger very well. I have trouble understanding social cues, like in situations such as this and just like daily life,
Okay.
and sometimes just trouble regulating my emotion.
Okay. So regarding all that, have you ever been diagnosed with anything or
No.
no? Have you ever undergone psychological testing before?
Yeah.
Yes. So have you ever had treatment for mental health? You have. So has it been inpatient?
Yeah.
You haven't had
Within
inpatient
the
treatment
prison.
within the prison. So then you've had outpatient as well?
Mhm.
Yes, okay. So are you taking any medicine regarding mental health?
Yes, I'm on some antipsychotic medications.
Okay. So is this new or have you always, like, has it been a past thing, like you've had a history of taking this?
Yeah, I've been taking them for a while.
Okay. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna kind of get into some daily activities. I just kind of want you to run through your day for me. So, like, how would you say that you spend your typical day?
I typically wake up pretty early in the morning, around 7 a.m., and I get my bunk clean for inspection and stuff like that. I go to work. I work for a couple hours, make a few pennies. I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner all at the same time every day due to like the strict
Okay.
schedule of being in prison, but I enjoy the structure of it. So
Okay, yeah, it can be really nice to have a schedule like that. Nothing
I
ever
go
kind of changes.
outside occasionally when I can.
Okay. So I know, you know, it kind of bars a lot, but you do have a lot of freedom, even with your situation. So, like, what kind of things would you say that you do for fun within the prison?
I spend a lot of time with my friends. We're very close. And I try to make other people laugh and smile.
Okay, that's awesome. So have you noticed just recently within this routine any like deterioration in your like personal care or hygiene?
Yeah, just some of my friends have been fighting recently, so I've been very like impacted by that. And then when some of my friends get out of prison and like I don't have them here to take care of me, to take care of them anymore.
Okay, I understand. So have you had like a marked constriction of interest in activities, just kind of not really wanted to do some of the things you enjoy?
Sometimes,
Yeah. So have you had a hard time just interacting with other people around you, social situations?
I don't like to make new friends.
Okay. And then have you had a hard time like understanding, remembering, or carrying out like instructions within like your job or just like other things throughout the day?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna kind of get into like social history, a little bit of the same thing. We're gonna kind of divulge into that whole friend dynamic. So just kind of tell me more about your social life, like what you do or did before.
Okay, with my social life within prison, I had about 3 best friends, and one of them actually was murdered in prison, and then one of them had to leave, and another one died, and that was my roommate. So, but before all of these tragic events, we would all spend a lot of time together and do activities together, and just we've helped each other get through the struggle of prison life. Yeah.
Very understandable. So can you describe any of your like friendship or romantic relationships that you've had in the past?
Okay. I have had like approximately 1 romantic relationship in the past, and sometimes I fall in love with people who are just friends and they don't want anything more than that, but I struggle to like realize that. And yeah, I just struggle to like see the line between friendship and romantic relationships sometimes.
Okay. So during that romantic relationship or any of your other relationships, how did you find yourself handling arguments with that person?
Sometimes I just get really frustrated, and I just don't handle like arguments well with the other person. So either I'll get really frustrated at myself, or like I'll lash out at them and push people away. My mother usually tries to keep me in line with stuff like that, and I've been trying to fix relationships with old friends, and it's just some people I've pushed away due to my like outburst emotion.
Makes sense. So do you feel like your mother does well with kind of like helping you understand that? Do you feel like that she's somebody you can kind of like confide in and kind of see that with?
Yeah, my mother doesn't view any of my like outbursts as like an issue. It's just like part of my personality.
Okay, see, that's Does that make you feel comfortable?
Yes.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you feel like you should tell me, you should discuss, anything that you want to make clear with the interview today?
I don't think so.
Okay. Alrighty. So I think that's pretty much all today. I feel like we can wrap up and then definitely pick up next time. You gave me a lot of good information that we can kind of build off of and work on. So I'm excited for the future.
Thank you.
You're welcome.